Thank you so much for joining us for our Women in Innovation Roundtable discussion, presented to you by Tribe Business Magazine in partnership with Phillip Morris International. I've got the fortunate fortune of being joined by four powerful women who are in innovation. We'll be speaking on the topic and having a discussion around this topic today. I'm looking forward to hearing their views and insights, and I'll be ensuring we cover everything we should. Can you introduce yourselves from right to left? We'll start with you, Woshde.
Thank you so much, Evans. Good afternoon. My name is Buhle Benta, and I'm the Head of Scientific Engagement at Phillip Morris South Africa.
Very happy to be here. I'm Viok Azikata. I'm the Director for Corporate Communications, also at Phillip Morris South Africa.
Hi everyone, my name is Dr. Sibongile Pilarazi. I'm the CEO of CRL and Business Solutions.
Hi everyone, lovely to be here with you ladies. My name is Noni Soke and I am the PR Innovative Specialist at Solar Events. Thanks Evans.
What does innovation mean to you individually?
Thank you. Innovation is an interesting concept because sometimes people immediately associate it with technology and digital and all of those good things. But the way I see it, it's really about problem solving. And you may have a challenge, and in Zigalo Business Solution, we work with different clients, with different types of challenges, and we assist them to find solutions. And that's what innovation is about. It's about finding solution to the problem, solve the problem. You may use digital or digital event. Sometimes digital may not be relevant, but you find other innovative or new ways of solving the problem. That's what innovation is about.
Okay, Bohie, what does innovation mean to you as an individual?
Thanks, Evans. For me, innovation is about the constant pursuit of knowledge, research, finding ways to solve problems, complex problems, just like Sibongile said, and challenging existing paradigms, that are currently there, and finding solutions to those, so disrupting those. And at Phillip Morris International, currently, we've got smoke-free products which don't combust tobacco. So new novel products, science-backed products, and that is innovation. So innovation is at the heart of our business, and that is what is important to us. But I just want to also just bring in, before joining Phillip Morris, I worked at the South African Health Products Regulator. And the regulator regulates all products, health technologies and medicines within the borders of our country. And that's where we actually see the impact of innovation, because for any product to be licensed or before it goes to the public, it has to go through the regulator. So it is important to have innovative products to assist and solve complex public health problems that we're currently experiencing within our country.
Noni, what does innovation mean to you?
Innovation to me means embracing problems, finding creative solutions to those problems, and embracing change. You must constantly be in the pursuit of self-improvement as an individual or a career woman. Be able to look at how you can solve people's problems and also have a social impact, not only in the where you work in the institution that you represent, but or within yourself and your family, but also within our communities and ultimately the world at large.
Vu, from your perspective, innovation, what do you think when you hear innovation?
Personally, for me, innovation is about adaptation and change. On a personal level, when I look at even the field that I'm working in, back in the day, 10 years ago, communications was for the newspapers. It was all about being in print. And you had the newspaper, you read it, that's how we measured reach. But look at where we are now. We've moved forward so many leaps and bounds. You look at the news on your phone, you look at the news on social media, you get bite-sized chunks, and we're using tablets. So innovation to me really is not being left behind, but it's always looking forward. And I loved what you just mentioned where you said about finding solutions, where we're not just saying this is the solution, it also matches where you are. It matches your behavior.
You know, at Try Business Magazine, when we speak innovation, the question I always ask as the editor-in-chief is, what has this innovation done for me? If you give me something that you believe is an innovative product or a service, it must do something for me personally. So for me, when you look at innovation, I think it's important to speak on how it helps us as individuals and how it makes our lives easier. Awesome. Now, let's look at the business or from a work perspective. Right? What does innovation mean to you in your business or in your work?
I think the most important thing that I always say, that beyond the title, I'm here to serve. So whichever creative strategies I'm going to come up and present to a client must be to serve their objectives. And the objectives of the client, it's always must always be aligned with the market that they are trying to penetrate or they have their footprints in. And so it's important to stay on top of trends and know what's happening on the ground, and also know what the discussions are within the industry. So innovation in that aspect means that what am I doing for the Sasol Solar Challenge that will be beneficial for the client, but also in the communities that we are going to be driving in across the provinces across South Africa. How are they going to benefit? So one of those things, we just wrapped up actually the Sasol Solar Challenge, and what I love about that, we have over 100 million of economic social impact. And with that, it was a town-to-town event from each town, which we started in Mpumalanga in Secunda, and then went to Northwest, etc. So all those towns that we traveled into benefited from the over 450 people that were part of the Sasol Solar Challenge. And we had also engagements of young people, frog scholars that were engaged by the Sasol Solar Challenge, which we introduced solar energy, engaged them on solar energy, and they actually also had the chance to interact with the solar cars, which they are the market for the future of those solar cars. So when we're talking about green energy, solar energy, those are our market. Those are the people that will drive and foresee and continue the future of solar energy.
So in other words, are you saying when you look at innovation, it's also about how that specific innovation reaches the market? It's not just about the product. So your work then encompasses ensuring the right market receives the product while also delivering the innovative products.
It's very important to align yourself with the partners that will help you drive whatever it is that you are trying to, when you are disrupting the market, introducing the whatever it is that you see feasible and important for the future. But you cannot do that if you are not planting little seeds to the young people. You are not doing that correctly if the broader market, the communities, the buyers, the consumers are not engaged. So it's very important that once you find the people that you want to, that can help you get to where you need to be, the partners, to create footprints and plant seeds to the younger people and the communities at large that will drive that conversations and drive that innovation into where you wanted it to be. So I think that's about it for me.
Fantastic. Sounds very, very interesting. Busha, from your perspective, I know you spoke a bit about what you are doing in terms of PMI. What else would you say is central to your innovative agenda as Phillip Morris International?
Thank you, Evan. So as Phillip Morris International, we actually have a vision of a smoke-free future. And you might ask, what does that do? A smoke-free future is a future where cigarettes don't exist. It's a future where smokers who would rather continue smoking would use or utilize smoke-free products which don't combust tobacco. So over the years, we've spent billions on research and development and creating totality of evidence and science backing these smoke-free products. And the WHO actually reports that there's 1 billion smokers currently worldwide. In South Africa, we have 0.7 million tobacco users. and 60% of those are not going to quit anytime soon. They've indicated that they've done a study. The Medical Research Council has done a study. So you need to have a change for those people who'd rather continue smoking. And this is where we're disrupting our business, introducing smoke-free products for those who'd rather continue. These products are less harmful to their health, and they've been assessed. I mean, you compile rigorous assessments on the products, and regulators like across the globe in different countries, such as the FDA, had actually assessed these products, and they have a lower risk profile in comparison to cigarettes. So that's innovation for us, ensuring that whatever we create impacts society, but in this case specifically society for those who smoke, and making sure we have a positive public health impact.
Vuva, ask you, what are the current methods that we are applying, maybe in terms of products, in terms of ways that you're getting people to take up the new, we know when an innovative product, is put into the market, there's initially a lot of resistance. People are used to, the way they've done things for a certain time. So it's never easy for people to take up new things. How are you as PMI getting people to take up the new methods with the innovation that you're bringing forward?
Okay, it's an interesting and a jam-packed question. So the first part I'm going to talk about is, with every disruption in the market, there can be some resistance to it because you are introducing something different. At Phillip Morris, we disrupted our own industry. We're known to be a cigarette tobacco company with brands like Marlboro and Chesterfield, and yet here we are now saying we've moved over to a smoke-free future. And that own disruption to our own business, people first were very skeptical to say, how do you move from your core business? Why would you disrupt your own industry and move to these products? And Wush already alluded to it. It's because we know that we've done the research, we believe in these products, and we've also put up proper financial backing toward them. So we have a vision, and that vision is that by 2030, 2/3 of our revenue will substantially only come from these smoke-free products, which is quite a big and quite a bold statement to make out there. And then to talk about the products. So first it was, really, is the company transforming? And yes, we are transforming. How is it transforming? I look at myself, before 10 years ago, and before these smoke-free products were introduced at Phillip Morris, there was no communications function because of the regulation around tobacco and cigarettes. And now there's a communications function because we've got smoke-free products, and we need to educate people, always encouraging them to make the switch to these better alternatives. So the company in itself has had to employ different people. We now have scientists in our company. We have technology, people who work on the technology behind the product. And I'll mention one of our products, IQOS. It's a heat not burn product. And as a heat not burn product, you need to charge it. It works by charging it. It is smoke-free, so there's no combustion in the product, and you need to charge it to be able to use it. So that's a big innovation already. And people were concerned how, traditional people who used to smoke cigarettes, they light it up, they want to see the smoke, and they cut their behavior. But look where we are now. People are using IQOS. IQOS is our flagship product globally. It's the one that is being used the most. This year, globally, it's our 10-year anniversary, and it's changed so many lives and so many people. If we look at Japan, how many people are using IQOS? They had a huge 40% initial decline in smoking incidents based on this technology, this IQOS heat not burn product. So we're continuously evolving. Right now, recently, we've just launched a product called Zin, and it's an orange nicotine product that looks like a little small discreet tea bag. That's what it looks like, and you put it in your mouth. And already people were skeptical. Does it work? Will I get my nicotine fix? What are the health risks? So there were some challenges that we had to meet, but we have to also explain to people that actually South Africa is launching way behind. There are Nordic countries, Swedish, where oral nicotine in Sweden has been there for decades and decades and decades. Smoking is a thing of the past. I recently went to Sweden, and when you ask them who smokes, they say Swedes don't smoke, it's the foreigners. The Swedish don't smoke at all, right? Their smoking incidence is under 5%. So really, we have these challenges, but we know that we've already overcome them because the Nordics are doing them, Japan is doing them, we've got the science. So we are waiting for people to embrace, and we are relying on the public, on regulators, on Phillip Morris, on scientists, for all of us to work together to create awareness and education on these products to allow and encourage those adult smokers to make that switch and to make that change.
I asked the jam-packed question, as you said. So you gave us a jam-packed answer. To add to that, I'll ask one more thing. So in terms of impacts, what's been the impacts in South Africa specifically, Africa generally, when you look at how your products are being taken up? Because like I alluded to, change is never easy. So how has the market been taking up your products from PMI at the moment?
So I think we are tracking really well. There's a lot of factors that you need to consider when you look at uptake and you look at change. And one of those factors is affordability. Another one is accessibility. And then you start with these new technology products. Sometimes they are not cheap. And so when we came with IPOS in South Africa several years ago, affordability was an issue. And this is why we ask to work with regulators, to work with the public. But right now, it's changed. So from 7 years ago, where it was at a very high price point, now it's at an affordable price point. So we are tracking well because with those obstacles that we also had before, we're moving faster now because we're having a different portfolio. I spoke about introduction of Zin. Zin is you can get Zin for 29 Rand, right? So that affordability allows more people to enter the smoke-free world.
Smiley, from your perspective, when you look at innovation, are there any ways that you have been, attending any innovative techniques or any innovative methods that you're using in your business? Is a bit type of
So I will speak through my clients because we serve clients.
Yes.
And as she was talking about, what do you call it? Let's call it Zin. 10 years ago, I had a different client. It wasn't you guys, but they were introducing the same product 10 years ago in South Africa, and I was testing it for them, and they were calling it smooth, and at the time it was rejected, like plain rejected. People thought it was a tea bag, and the idea of putting it in your mouth, it was just a no-go. So can you see how sometimes, and also how when you introduce a product, it can be rejected. And then with time, suddenly people warm up to it and with all my clients it's like that. And I want to speak about, because what we are talking about now is really in the FMCG space that you guys have highlighted, but there's also the side of public service and the challenges that we face, especially as a country in public service, and the type of innovation that we may be needing in those spaces for social good, for all our good. And some of those that I've come across that even now I'm still trying to figure out what best innovative ways should we be thinking about as a country, as a continent, to solve for this issue, because it's a huge issue, corruption in this country. And it keeps me up at night, that how do we get to a point where we have found either if it means we need to go IR route even to assist us, AI route to assist us to solve for some of these behavioral issues, human behavioral issues, ethical issues, because we find ourselves in spaces where there's huge budgets, and those budgets belong to all of us, but somehow people who hold a portfolio And in that portfolio, you probably have whatever millions or billions that you have in that portfolio. Immediately, people think, I need to get a share of that myself. And we have this culture that somehow believes that I have to get a share of that myself. And we don't surface these things enough. And because we don't surface them enough, they continue. And these are challenges that find ourselves with as a country that I hope some of these days soon we can say we found a solution for this, to get people to realize, or somehow in our culture, to get it to be so unacceptable to think that resources that belong to others, you can have a personal share in that. And I don't know how we get to that. But those are some of the challenges I find myself. And then I would speak to another, maybe in the mining industry, because just to move away from both. Yeah, mining industry, some of the innovative challenges that we see there. We are gifted.
I've seen you before in the mining, and I was wondering if you're now mining. What was it?
Yeah, those are places I moved with.
Yes.
Yeah. So we are gifted as a country. We have mineral, not just a country, a continent. We have minerals, but we find ourselves, we take them out from the ground and we ship them out, and they come back to where they go and refine them, beneficiate them, and they come back to us, and they buy them from us raw, cheaper, and then we buy it from them, a complete product, more costly. We also transport jobs, because when you're beneficiating, you are creating a secondary level jobs. You're creating us, the scientist, the communication specialist, but now we lose that when we take away our products and we send them to the likes of China, who buy them from us, who are biggest buyers of our raw materials. And the innovation there, it's glaring, it's in your face that we should be beneficiating ourselves. Then you ask yourself, but why are we not doing it? Because it's just so obvious that we should be doing this. But we're not doing it. Why? Because of political will. Because for you, there are interest in these spaces. And if you were to bring this innovation, well, I wouldn't even call it innovation in this case, because it's just an obvious thing. But because there are interest, they will block it. And those interests will ensure that it never happens. So the status quo remains. So you need serious courage, political will, self-love, willingness to take on bullets, even, because those people with self-interest, they are willing to do anything to make sure that the systems remain the way it is. So those are some of the challenges that also serious.
Sorry to just cut you there. So what does that then mean for the public who are supposed to benefit from those innovative solutions?
It means we remain the continent that we are, what we call our continent, and yet we are so rich because we are not maximizing to the things that we have. In public sector, the corruption issues there, and people feeling entitled to take from public funds and use them for their own whatever needs, to in this space, the mining space, where we could be benefiting from our minerals fully, because we are benefiting, yes, but not as full as we could be benefiting. But it's not happening because of these interests that make it difficult for these things to be done. So those are the areas for me personally that when I look at them and I feel like I hope we can get to a point where this level of resistance that FMCG companies and the likes are able to stomach until a certain point where the market is ready and then the products can launch. I wish that we can start having similar type of mentality in these spaces, the public spaces, where consciously as a Kipo, we say it's unacceptable in our culture that you should be doing this. Should you be found doing this, we will do 1, 2, 3 as a consequence management. And it will be painful at first, but with time, we'll start seeing the correct behaviors. Same thing in this space, that where we have resources endowed as a continent, but we're not benefiting that. I wish that we can get to a point where we have leaders who have the courage to say, we will start this conversation, as difficult as it may be initially, when we introduce it, but we'll take the bullets that are necessary, because in the business space, the bullets that you take, it's the research that needs to be done, the investments that needs to be done, the product launches that fail, that you have to absorb in the business until the market is ready. And I wish the same mentality was applying in these other spaces where we so desperately need new ways of being in order for us to fully benefit from the resources that they want.
But it's I just want to add, it's such a big challenge that you're talking about. It's such a big stumbling block, and I feel like, is it a Africa stumbling block? Is it a South Africa stumbling block that there isn't this openness to hear all voices or to get full consultation before matters go to the end, or before they're not taken seriously? Because that challenge, even for us, it means that there's lack of awareness, there's lack of people knowing about these products, and then they fail. And it's not they failing because maybe you two work hand in hand. Maybe not all voices were heard in public hearings or whatever it is, for whatever those reasons are. But the end result is it affects the people. It affects the end users. So you ask the question on uptake of these smoke-free products. Now, saying to you, we're tracking, we're introducing more. There's all these problems, but a big part lies in people don't know. There's no education on it, and there's barriers to that because of certain regulations or certain laws or certain clauses, but
Or certain interests.
certainly interests. But the big part is, I think I don't want to be politically incorrect, but there seems to not be a willingness to hear all four voices before making decisions on society as a whole.
I actually want to take upon myself by saying that the biggest challenge that I am facing where I'm at right now, and where I see with the market, is the economical imbalances, because now it's not, instead of traditional media being the one that drives and launching these products, we all have we still have the traditional media, and there's a rapid growth over the years, especially the last 5 years, of digital media where people consume news through different digital platforms, whether it's TikTok, whether it's Facebook, whether it's just online news, but not everyone has access to those, and data is expensive for many. And we have an employment problem within this country. So it's a lot of how do I get to that market? Now, you're going to be hearing a lot of social impact from my vocab today, because I think that is where we're at. You mentioned that you launched Zing, and it's being received very well. But you also said that when it was launched, and I had a friend in 10 years ago, it was different audience, maybe same audience, but it was not yet to see.
It was being tested. Now they've launched them.
But I think they also just quickly differentiate between snus and Zin. Okay, snus is a product that contains tobacco. Zin has no tobacco, it's nicotine only, which means there's different regulation. So tobacco, very controlled. There's currently now a tobacco bill that's in play, very controlled, many restrictions. Part of the reason why I was not hired then, because we couldn't talk about it, right? And that's one of the reasons why these products fail. It's because you can't educate, you can't talk about them, you can't tell people about them. Zin, because it doesn't have tobacco, it's not regulated under the same pact, and therefore right now we are able to tell people about it, give them the information, why it is the better alternative, but we don't know for how long that will last, and that's the issue.
And maybe then, it also speaks to the learnings as you introduce new things and new solutions, that you realize, oh, okay, if I approach it this way, this is where Islamic Club will be. So we need to find a way, you see. So, and that's what the innovation is about, continuously looking for new ways to bring the same end.
Hijack cheating.
But I think, the market is now more open right now. And I think it's backed up by a lot of data that Abu have worked on over the years. And it's now, how do we get there? So and how will now we launch and have an economical and social impact within those regions? And our aim at the Social Challenge is to even attract remote areas, as well in the villages. And I remember when we were in Mpumalanga, we had one school that traveled all the way from Limpopo, Lesotho, to Secunda, so that kids can learn about robotics, see solar cars, etc. And those are the type of, we have to be able to find personally clients that are willing to go the extra mile, be willing to bridge the gap between the urban youth and the village rural youth, because that's how we are going to test and have and see and be able to measure what is it exactly within the market that we need to tailor and work on for our product to be received so well.
I was going to comment on what you said about the rise of different platforms where, news is at your fingertips, but that has brought us different problems now, because you can't trust all the sources that produce the information. Because what you now have with the rise of, for example, citizen journalism and blogging and all that, is that most of the people who will be running those enterprises are not trained within those sectors. So they just run with what they're thinking. It's an innovation, which is great because more information out there, but then now it brings up a different challenge of who do I trust?
This institution.
Yeah, and so then that's also a worry. But then what that means for media, for traditional media, is that they are still in charge because they've got the platforms. If you have a strong platform that is trusted by people because you are there to settle scandals, then people always take it seriously. But ultimately, you also have to bring in new methods of disseminating the information so that clients can feel more comfortable to work with you.
Within the context of traditional. So within the context of traditional media and new media, rules of innovations don't change, but you have to adapt and be flexible to tailor it and accustom it and to continuously work on whatever it is that you are introducing to the market. Now, I like with the other platforms, the traditional media still has the upper hand. They just need to adapt and be present and visible for us to consume and follow their channels and engage in their channels.
Wise wins, very true.
For Evans, you spoke about the need to verify information, right? And I think that's very important, especially when you're saying that you're making things of science backed. And that's what we actually do in our company. We've got over 500 publications, peer-reviewed book chapters as well. So this backs the science behind those snow-free products. And we mentioned we've got over 1,500 scientists employed. So again, it's when we have conversations with regulators, they had access to this information, and it's not just us who actually produce this information. We've got independent researchers that actually assess our products and look at them and look at the science, and a lot of them actually come to the same findings. So it's very important again to address misinformation, to address misunderstandings, to have open conversations with regulators, with journalists, and with society to ensure that the correct information is out there, regardless of which products that are there. But I'll speak about PMI specifically, and that we've done that, and we're ensuring that to continuously improve our products, we continuously, rigorously assessing them to provide the totality of evidence.
I think in everything we do, it's important to have backed up information. So that is really where innovation, at times, innovation moves quicker than regulation. Most times, I would say. So when the innovation comes in, it's now a bit of a headache, but at times regulators who won't have the understanding of the innovation and will try to fight it from a position of being happy with the old. So I think that's where the challenge is in this engaging topic that we're having.
But the beauty of the world that we're in now is that a lot of international regulators, actually those in developed nations, are in the forefront, and we rely on them for other processes, and actually the same for other health technologies as well. So that's just my response to it. Yeah.
when we talk about value, right? I think this just leads us into our next question. When we're talking about value for client. So how do you value for client, value for individual, value for men on the streets? How do you give value when you're blocked by at times regulation because the innovation is too quick? How do you manage that situation? I know when you spoke about the corruption, how do you then give value, the value you need to give when you know there's so many other factors you have to deal with?
Interest it must be met.
Yeah, how do you get it done?
It's definitely not easy, but you continuously lobby, ultimately, because you have to change people's hearts and minds about the things that need to be done. And it's not easy at all. So the bullets that you need to take, you just have to take them until such time that what you've been advocating for finds its way into what needs to be done. There's another organization that I'm affiliated with that has been fighting for this bill for music rights and music composers and the likes.
That has been a big topic all over the world, as well. When people fight for that, they want their publishing rights. Because organizations have been owning them, record labels.
Yeah. So, and it's been a big thing. So, and the lobbying that has been behind that has been immense. And it got to a point where we thought, oh my God, the president is going to sign his bill, and there's so many gaps that may even violate constitutional rights. And was it yesterday or day before yesterday, woke up to the news that the president has decided to take the bill to be reviewed by the Constitutional Court for exactly these aspects that we've been worried about. And, you know, it's been signed, but it has so many problems. So it speaks to that lobby that you cannot eventually have your innovation see the light of day if you are not willing to put in the work of lobbying, making sure that your interests are taken care of. Because even in the regulation for the tobacco and all of that, there are always interest groups in the background, lobby group, and making sure that the regulation takes care. Sometimes because they have more resources than the ordinary man in the street, their voice end up being louder, and their interests get taken care of more than those of the person at the end, and who might not necessarily benefit from these products that they want to introduce. So, but it all takes lobbying.
So in other words, you're saying one must be prepared to suffer if they are going to push innovation. It actually reminds me, I think 2 years ago, I was fortunate enough to visit Phillip Morris's offices in Switzerland. And they had their Technovation Festival, which is very, very awesome event, and they talk about innovation. And the one thing that I remember a lot about that event was a video that was shown, and it was looking at all the different innovators over different eras. So from the guys from electricity to anything that was innovating, and how much resistance those people went through, but ultimately society ended up taking it in. But as you say, they were prepared to take the bullets, because when you look at it today, this common sense, why would you do it?
Exactly. But it's a point. So
Examples as well, even with harm reduction, right? With harm reduction, sometimes there's resistance. It's safety, but it's a harm reduction measure, but when it was first introduced, there was resistance. I give an example to cycling and helmets. That's a harm reduction. Vaccines are harm reduction. Condoms are harm reduction, right? Sunblock is harm reduction. So there's a stigma with some harm reduction, but what you're saying is absolutely true, that at some point, harm reduction, people had a resistance to in the beginning, and continuous effort, talking with regulators, engaging, debate and dialogue, keeping at it. And look where we are now. Nobody debates sunblock. Nobody debates
The way it's electricity, right?
Phone. There was a time when people thought, yo, the engine.
It's true. It's true. And Evans, you spoke about value add. If you look at what's Nolita mentioned, that's new super into a country 10 years ago, right? And then you look at Sweden, who's got a smoking prevalence of about 5%, because they adopted that innovation back then. Speak about Japan, who adopted kicking up current technology. And then you see other countries, right? Your UK, your New Zealand also adopting different innovations in the space. And it's because of differential regulation. She spoke about the bill, they accept that there's a need for risk appropriate regulation. So cigarettes will have the harshest form of regulation, and then these novel products will have a separate regulation based on their risk profile. So, and that adds value to the community at large, to that society, because then again, there's an impact on the public health and population public health. So that, for me, that's value add. Yeah.
I'm enjoying this so much, I want to keep going. But unfortunately, soon we have to be ending our conversation. But before we do that, let's talk about the future, right? So I think when you look at the different sectors that you all represent, what does the future look like? Well, you're obviously fighting, taking the bullets, I like your phrase, taking the bullets as you go along. But what do we see in the future? If we can start with I'm going to start from you, right to the end to none. Yeah.
With you, the future, working at Phillip Morris is a smoke-free future. And we mentioned it as well, a future where cigarettes in the museum, where these products are easily accessible to those who rather continue smoking. We can actually communicate about them to that. And I mean, like I mentioned earlier, we have in South Africa prevalence of smoking at 25.8%. That's pretty high compared to those countries that have adopted those products, 5% Sweden, around 14% Japan, so forth. So let's be the change for Africa, the change for South Africa that we want to see. And that's for me, through adopting innovation in the space. And Phillip Morris will continue to improve the products, work on the science, conduct research. But we as Africans as well need to embrace and accept these products and ensure that we have the correct regulation for these products as well. Yeah, that's the future for me.
So also adding that the onus is on you to ensure all Africans get the information of the benefits of those products. Because someone who's very low LSM, they probably go and buy a single cigarette at a spaza shop. There must be a way to reach them. There must be a way for them to benefit from the innovation that you guys have invested so much time and energy.
Yes, and we were working on that. I mean, we recently launched Zint in South Africa, and we were mentioning the price at 29 Rand. And remember as well, the key thing is that these products are tested, they're checked. Whereas if we're going to uptake a product that's from a spaza shop that you don't know of, if it's been tested, I mean, that increases illicit trade. It's not a product that could be a counterfeit product as well. So as a company on our side, we'll ensure that products are accessible to all South Africans at the different price ranges. I mean, starting from 29 Rand for Zen all the way to our ICOS for those who can afford. But we do commit to doing that as well.
Fantastic. From your perspective?
I think differentiated regulation is very, very high on our agenda, because if you can, the spectrum you were talking about it, you can regulate the product with the least harm less and the one with the most harm more, then it gives the public an understanding on which is better, which is not the better alternative, but it also allows us to be able to educate on these products. So if there's a differentiated regulation for the better alternatives, we're able to speak about it. We're able to talk to that person who's buying a single at the spaza shop. But in order for us to do that, we need differentiated regulation for those products. And then the future and innovation, I mean, I look at Buhle and his science world and the things they're coming up with. It's looking good. When I think at Phillip Morris, I look at a portfolio that caters to our consumers. So these adult smokers who continue to smoke, they have different tastes, they have different price points, they have different needs, they have different lifestyles. It's been able to offer them a range of products that will suit the different adult smokers who are out there, which will encourage them to switch, right? So I think we've got IQOS in South Africa, we now have Zyn, and hopefully in the future we'll be able to have more products that fit the different profiles of our different consumers out there in order to eventually have a smoke-free South Africa.
Fantastic. And Spoiler, from your perspective?
Yeah, I think as humans, the more we develop, the healthier we want to be, which is something that is encouraging as you reflect about our societies, whether in our bodies, in terms of the stuff that we put in our bodies, making sure that we get healthier and healthier in our minds, mental health, in our consciousness, as a people, as a continent, the healthier we move towards. And it's encouraging to see every time you reflect. And for us at Integrated Business Solutions, it's always nice that to have been working with our clients in such a way that they achieve their aspirations of being healthy, whatever area that it is, that they're getting healthier as they develop. So I see in the future of the innovation to play a big role in getting us to that end goal of being the healthiest we can be. Can take long. I think it was really more than 10 years ago he was being introduced. I was just thinking, no. 10 years is too short. It was more than 10 years ago. But we are getting help. And the trigger for the snus at the time was one, the regulation that who couldn't smoke whenever they needed to smoke. But yet they still wanted that tobacco. So they needed to find new ways of doing. But now it seems like what has happened is that it's the health benefits have taken over the need for the tobacco, and training people to get to a point where they see the benefits of being healthy individuals in a society. And that's the future.
So wellness, basically, you feel wellness should be in front, should lead wellness in terms of our future.
It seems like we are getting there, whether we like it or not. The more we develop, the more well we strive to. We don't take less and lose our rights. We are more knowledgeable about our rights, and we demand what is right for us. And we even in the food space, you can see more vegan restaurants opening up. So you see that the move as we develop as human beings, the more healthier we want to be. So that's the future, and we would like to behind our tasks, assist them to that future.
You would like to live to the
When we partners, our clients have their own views, their own aspirations.
And our job is to be there and assist and make sure that they get to the destination.
Fantastic. Noni, from your perspective, but think wrapping it up.
Wrapping it up, the future is green.
Solar sustainability.
Sustainability is where the future is at, but most importantly in terms of media again, which is how we engage the public. For the client is for clients to continue to develop their own platforms. We had a Sasol Solar Challenge app. It says the social media challenge channels and the website where people could catch the live updates of where we were at, on which day, the press releases, the teams, and information about the teams, etc. We're in the world where we are now, there's a lot of digital channels, news channels. We can control our client news by having our clients be the source of those news first before they go out.
I think I absolutely like that, because that's how we interact at Tribe. We are just facilitators of information. The people in the industries know better because they're on the ground and they're dealing with these challenges every single day. That's why you'll see, even with the content we publish, it's mostly academics, it's people who are within those spaces, because our focus is just ensuring the people who should know about it know about it. And on that note, it's been a really, really great conversation. I'm looking forward to doing this again. Ladies, I thank you so much. And hopefully we had enough time to at least cover a few interesting topics from your perspective as well. Okay?
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much. See you soon.